Baggage concerns at the airport, a special appeal for those seeking NEMA's assistance, and it has been a busy past 3 days for Basra.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, airline passengers said to be up in arms with the current baggage situation at the Grand Bahama International Airport. Apparently, the baggage belt malfunctioned some time ago, and for some, it amounts to a major inconvenience. Italia Hall reports.
Our ZNS newsroom has learned that the loading belt at the airline ticket counter at the Grand Bahama International Airport is not working. In fact, it has not been working for several weeks, so we decided to stop by and see it for ourselves. We watched as passengers checked in at the various airline counters, and one by one, they walked away dragging their bags to the security checkpoint. For some, it was easy, and for others, it was no small effort. The international passengers expressed disappointment that they had to drag their luggage, one even noting that even after he had to pay high baggage fees, he was still saddled with the bags. Some airline officials spoke to us off the record, complaining about the length of time it is taking for something to be done to repair the belt, concerned about the unnecessary strain on their passengers. In our search for answers, we asked to speak with the operations manager. We were directed to the Grand Bahama Aviation Center, but after waiting for some time, we were directed to contact an executive responsible for the airport operations. But up to news time, we did not get a response from operators of the airport as to when passengers can expect the loading belt to be fully operational. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Now, we were just informed that the matter is being given priority. Reports say the part for the loading belt has been placed on special order. These specialty parts, we are told, take some time to be made, and it is hoped that the belt could be up and operational in another couple of weeks. David Scantlebury is the new CEO of the Grand Bahama Shipyard. He will oversee the overall direction and management of the ship care facility that caters to dry docking and afloat repairs, refits, refurbishments, and revitalizations. Scantlebury will also play a key role in building strong relationships with the government and other stakeholders, develop a highly skilled workforce, and sustain the shipyard as one of Grand Bahama's largest and most significant economic contributors. The new CEO has been with the company since January 2016, initially as commercial officer. He has been in the marine industry for over 40 years and has worked globally in senior management roles and board positions, both in shipping companies and shipyards. In other news, a special appeal is going out to residents awaiting NEMA's assistance for roof repairs ahead of the approaching hurricane season. Sabrina Brown has the story.
We are less than 3 months away from the start of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, and Island Administrator Preston Cunningham is urging residents who have applied for NEMA's post-hurricane roof repair assistance and have not submitted the required documents to do so as soon as possible.
We could not emphasize sufficiently the necessity to ensure that you do all that you can to help us help you. Because after this, we could not say exactly when the cutoff point will be. So we want to make sure, take advantage, and do so without delay.
Officer in charge of the Ministry of Works on Grand Bahama, Tony Hudson Bannister, says the only documents that will be accepted as proof of Bahamian citizenship are passports and voters' cards.
You would also have to show proof of home ownership. And the home that you're asking for assistance for has to be the dwelling home for which you currently reside. And that would be the affidavit swearing that you've been the occupant of the dwelling home in excess of 10 years and a conveyance, as well as we're also used our discretion in receiving a letter certified from a lending institute saying that you're still paying mortgage on the dwelling home that you're currently residing in.
NEMA Supplies Officer Tammy Mitchell says applicants will be contacted once they are approved.
There's no need for you to come if you have not been called by someone from the Ministry of Works or somebody from the NEMA office saying to bring in these documents. We have a number of persons who are insisting that they were on the list, they did this or they did that. But if we don't have that information directly in the file, it means to us that there has not been a file generated on you. So you would have to, unfortunately, be somewhat put to the back so that we can deal with the persons whose files that we currently have.
She's appealing to residents to be honest.
If you do not meet the qualifications, if you know that your home is insured, it is unfair to you to come to the government of the Bahamas and say that you need assistance, because what you're doing is you're causing persons who do not have the means to be left out. So please, we encourage you to work along with your Bahamian citizens.
Applicants who will receive priority are the elderly, disabled, and the unemployed. Persons who received assistance under the former administration will not be given priority during this exercise. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
The search continues for two men fared missing at sea. The two were on board the Diamond Express freighter headed to the Berry Islands that capsized several miles out of Freeport on Sunday evening. The remaining 4 crew members were found on board and overturned a life raft. Chairman of BASRA, Eddie Wan, says several volunteers continue to assist in the search, but they have not had much success.
Able to go on the vessel that night and conduct a penetrating dive, at which time they didn't find any signs of life and or bodies. Yesterday we also had a C-130 from Coast Guard flying around. We had the Defense Force fly around again, and Don Smith had a private aircraft flying around in the area looking for debris, looking for any signs of anybody floating or anything, and we're unsuccessful with that. We're looking at pulling it back to the Freeport area and turning it upright and securing it.
But that was not the only rescue mission BASRA was involved with this week. Yesterday, BASRA was called on to rescue 3 persons on board a 35-foot sailboat heading into West Grand's Bahama from Florida after it encountered rough seas.
They were blown off course and actually ran aground some 200 yards just outside of Boodle Bay. Blue Marlin Cove actually is what they were close to. There was 2 68-year-olds on board. One was a lady and one was a gentleman. They had their grandson on board who was 19. The lady, Miss Braun, she's also diabetic and was not doing very well at all because it was way too dangerous with the seas being 8 to 10 foot. It was really, really nasty. So I opted to call the Defense Force, who gave us permission to go ahead and call Coast Guard. We contacted Coast Guard, and we had a helicopter there within an hour and a half, who did indeed take the lady off the vessel, Miss Braun, and then her grandson, Reese Bennett. I had them fly them straight to Freeport Airport, where I had an ambulance waiting for Miss Braun.
All 3 persons on board that sailboat were eventually rescued and are said to be doing well. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues in just a moment.